Life is a journey, and as we age, it becomes a road that's shaped by experience, challenges, and the lessons we've learned. Aging, while it brings wisdom, also introduces new hurdles that we must face with a sense of purpose and clarity. As we grow older, the perspective on life changes. The wisdom we've gained over the years allows us to reflect on our past, yet it also invites us to think deeply about how we want to live the years ahead. But this time in life also presents a crucial opportunity to avoid the mistakes that can diminish our joy, freedom, and happiness in the later stages of life. While the mistakes we make in our younger years may be about wealth or career ambitions, the regrets we often face as we age tend to be much more profound, centered around our health, relationships, and the way we adapt to life's inevitable changes. The decisions we make in our later years can either give us peace of mind or leave us with regret. Here are 10 critical mistakes to avoid if you want to live your later years with purpose, peace, and fulfillment. 1. Neglecting your health. The biggest mistake of all. We've all heard the saying, health is wealth, but how many of us truly understand the weight of that statement? As we age, neglecting our health becomes the single most significant mistake we can make. When we're young, we might feel invincible, thinking we can eat whatever we want, skip exercise, and live without consequence. But the reality is far different. Every choice we make today impacts the quality of our life tomorrow. A close friend of mine, now in his mid-60s, once shared how he used to laugh off the importance of exercise and healthy eating. "I used to believe that I could always get away with it," he said. "I skipped workouts, ate whatever I wanted, and didn't think it mattered. But now, dealing with heart problems, arthritis, and other chronic conditions, he finds himself regretting those choices. Activities he once loved, like hiking and playing sports, are no longer an option. Your body is the only one you'll have for the rest of your life. It's your lifelong home. And just like any home, if you don't take care of it, it starts to deteriorate." Start by taking small steps. Take a walk every day, make healthier food choices, and don't skip your regular checkups. The small actions you take now will pay off in your future, allowing you to live a long, healthy, and fulfilling life. 2. Losing social connections. The hidden dangers of loneliness. As we age, the physical changes can be significant, but it's the emotional and psychological impacts of aging that can often go unnoticed. Many older adults find themselves grappling with loneliness, which is an invisible but incredibly heavy burden. The absence of social connections, whether due to distance, changing life circumstances, or neglecting relationships over time, can leave us feeling isolated. I remember a woman in her late 70s telling me how, after retiring, she stopped meeting her friends. She convinced herself that family and household responsibilities were enough to fill her time. But as the years went by and her children grew up and left home, she realized that the connection she had once cherished had faded away. Now she often finds herself alone, with no one to talk to about the joys and struggles of everyday life. Loneliness can be one of the heaviest burdens you'll carry in your later years. But the good news is, this is something you can actively work to avoid. Stay in touch with old friends, make a habit of checking in with family, and join new communities where you can build relationships. Whether it's volunteering, joining a local club, or even taking up a new hobby, the friendships you nurture today will be your emotional anchors when you need them most. 3. Being too proud to ask for help. The barrier of pride. As we get older, we often find a sense of pride in maintaining our independence. There's nothing wrong with wanting to remain self-sufficient, but there's a fine line between pride and stubbornness. Refusing to ask for help when we truly need it can lead to unnecessary risks and emotional isolation. I once heard the story of an elderly man who, after a fall, refused to let his children help him. He feared that asking for help would make him seem weak and incapable. But by not accepting assistance, he not only prolonged his recovery, but also caused his family considerable worry. His refusal to ask for help created a distance that he later regretted. Accepting help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. It's a recognition that we all need support at different points in life. Whether it's asking for help with daily tasks, seeking emotional support, or getting medical assistance, asking for help strengthens the bonds between us and those around us. It doesn't take away your independence. It enhances your quality of life and makes sure you're supported when you need it most. 4. Holding on to grudges and regrets. The invisible weight. You carry grudges, and unresolved regrets are like invisible chains that bind your spirit, making it harder to move forward in life. These emotional burdens may seem easy to carry at first, but over time they can weigh you down, affecting your happiness and peace of mind. The older we get, the more we reflect on our lives, and sometimes that reflection is filled with a mixture of pride for the good choices and sorrow for the mistakes. But what can truly haunt us are the regrets we can never undo. A woman I know spent over 2 decades holding a grudge against her brother over a trivial family dispute. She believed the issue was too important to let go, but when her brother passed away unexpectedly, she found herself unable to reconcile with him. This missed opportunity haunted her deeply, leaving her with a profound sense of loss that could never be healed. Grudges are like heavy stones tied to your heart, constantly pulling you back. Forgiveness is the key to releasing that burden, not just for the other person, but for yourself. Letting go of the past allows you to embrace the present and live more freely. Time waits for no one, and the most important thing isn't what happened in the past, but how you choose to live the time you have left. Don't carry the weight of old wounds with you. Learn to forgive and find peace. 5. Fearing change, resisting the inevitable. Change is the only constant in life, yet many of us fear it, especially as we grow older. We find comfort in routines and familiar ways of doing things, and the thought of altering those habits can feel unsettling. But resisting change only leads to stagnation, and it can create emotional isolation as the world continues to evolve around us. I once knew an elderly man who refused to learn how to use a smartphone because he thought it was too complicated. His resistance to technology, while understandable, meant that he lost touch with his grandchildren, who communicated primarily through digital means. The inability to connect with them in the way they lived their lives left him feeling distant and disconnected from his family. Change is inevitable, and it doesn't need to be feared. Embracing change keeps you mentally sharp and emotionally flexible. It's not about forcing yourself to become someone you're not, but about being open to new experiences, technologies, and ways of thinking. Whether it's learning to use a smartphone, adopting new hobbies, or adapting to societal shifts, accepting change enriches your life. It keeps you engaged with the world and makes every day more vibrant and full of possibilities. 6. Not planning for the future. Old age is not an accident. Many people treat old age as something far in the future, an event that's too distant to be concerned with today. But the truth is, old age doesn't wait for you to be ready. It comes swiftly, and without proper planning, you may find yourself facing unnecessary hardships that could have been avoided. A couple I know in their 60s thought their retirement savings were more than enough to cover their needs. They lived comfortably, believing they had prepared adequately for the future. However, they had not anticipated the skyrocketing medical expenses that came with aging, nor did they account for unexpected home repairs and inflation. As a result, they had to sell their home and drastically reduce their standard of living, something they never thought would happen. Failing to plan for your later years is a mistake that can create unnecessary financial stress and emotional turmoil. Old age is not an accident. It requires foresight and preparation. Whether you're in your 30s, 40s, or nearing retirement, it's never too early to start planning. This includes saving for retirement, managing your finances smartly, and thinking about how you want to live your life in your later years. The sooner you start, the more peace of mind you'll have knowing you've set yourself up for a comfortable future. 7. Losing your sense of purpose. Aging doesn't mean losing your value. One of the most significant mistakes people make as they age is feeling like their life no longer has meaning. Whether it's after retirement, when children leave home, or after the loss of a spouse, many find themselves questioning their value. The idea that aging means the loss of purpose is not only misguided, but also harmful to your well-being. I once met a woman who had been a teacher for over 30 years. After her retirement, she felt as if her life had lost its purpose. The classroom had been the heart of her daily routine, and without it, she struggled to find meaning in her days. However, when she began volunteering and mentoring younger individuals, she realized that her experience and wisdom were more valuable than ever. She discovered that her value wasn't tied to a job or a role, it was about what she could still offer to the world. Life's purpose is not limited by age. You can always create new opportunities for fulfillment, whether it's by volunteering, learning new skills, spending time with loved ones, or engaging in community activities. Purpose comes from within, and no matter your age, you can always find ways to contribute, grow, and find joy in what you do. 8. Neglecting mental health. The mind needs attention. Just like the body. While we often focus on our physical health, we can easily forget that our mental health is just as important. Mental health struggles such as depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline don't just affect the young, they affect people of all ages, including older adults. A man I know shared how, after losing his wife, he fell into a deep state of loneliness and depression. He didn't initially believe that seeking professional help was necessary. "I thought I could handle it on my own," he told me. But eventually his mental health took a significant toll on his life. It wasn't until his condition worsened that he realized the importance of reaching out for support. Taking care of your mental health isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Just as you visit a doctor for physical ailments, your mind also requires attention. Whether it's talking to a therapist, seeking support from family and friends, or practicing mindfulness, keeping your mind sharp and healthy is key to maintaining balance in your life. Mental well-being can directly impact your physical health and how you adapt to the challenges of aging, so be sure to nurture it with the same care you give your body. 9. Not simplifying life. Finding comfort in simplicity. As we grow older, many of us accumulate more belongings, more responsibilities, and larger homes. However, holding on to possessions and unnecessary complexities can make life harder instead of easier. Simplification is a concept that many people resist, often associating it with loss or sacrifice. But in reality, simplifying your life can bring a sense of peace and freedom, allowing you to focus on the things that truly matter. A couple I know held on to their large family home after their children moved out, hoping it would continue to be the place where their family gathered. Yet after a few years, they realized that maintaining such a large house was financially and physically exhausting. They were spending more time managing the house than enjoying it. Simplifying life doesn't mean giving up everything you love. It means finding freedom from unnecessary burdens. Consider decluttering your home, downsizing to a more manageable space, or even rethinking your daily routine to make it easier and more enjoyable. The less cluttered your life is, the more time and energy you'll have for the activities and people who truly bring you joy. 10. Avoiding conversations about end-of-life planning. The final gift to your family. No one likes to think about the end of life, but avoiding this conversation can create unnecessary strain for both you and your loved ones. Death is an inevitable part of life, yet many avoid making end-of-life plans until it's too late. This not only causes confusion and distress for those left behind, but can also lead to disputes and heartache during an already difficult time. I once heard a story about a man who passed away suddenly, leaving no will or instructions about his estate. His children, unprepared for such an event, became involved in disputes over his property, causing additional pain to an already grieving family. The lack of planning created unnecessary challenges during an emotional time. Discussing your end-of-life wishes with your family is one of the greatest gifts you can give them. Create a will, designate heirs, and make your healthcare decisions clear. These conversations can be difficult, but they ensure that your wishes are respected and they alleviate the burden on your loved ones when the time comes. While it's a difficult topic, having these discussions in advance can prevent unnecessary stress and heartache. Old age should be a time to enjoy the fruits of a lifetime's labor. It is not a time for regret or fear, but for peace, fulfillment, and connection. To live without regret in your later years, it's essential to focus on the things that truly matter. maintaining your health, nurturing relationships, embracing change, and planning for the future. These are the keys to a fulfilling and meaningful old age. Don't let regrets steal your joy. Live with wisdom, adapt to the challenges of aging, and focus on creating a life you can look back on with pride. By avoiding these common mistakes and making mindful choices, you can ensure that your later years are not only filled with contentment, but also with a lasting sense of purpose.